I didn't blink. Not when his hand grazed her bare shoulder. Not when her wine-dark lipstick curved into that guilty smile she thought she'd buried behind office walls. The chandelier above us trembled in the air conditioning, glinting off his Rolex. He called it a gift from the company. A company I built from the ground up long before any of them knew what it even did. He leaned back in his chair, hand still on her shoulder. "She deserves a real man after hours," he said to the table, voice pitched just enough for me to hear, just enough to make them laugh. The laughter rang hollow. But she laughed, too. That was the moment the ground stopped shifting under my feet and instead hardened like ice. I kept my fork still. A single tap of my knife against the plate was the only sign that I'd heard. I didn't confront. I inhaled and swallowed the rage whole because I was done asking questions. I met my wife in a garage that smelled like engine oil and ambition. We'd been young, reckless in love, living out of cardboard boxes, planning futures like they were owed to us. She printed logo mock-ups on our kitchen counter. I wrote code on a laptop with a cracked hinge. We promised each other everything. Her loyalty, my future. Years later, when my company hit valuation milestones, she congratulated me with champagne kisses and a promise whispered in the dark, "We made it." I believed it. I ignored the late-night calls, the sudden perfume bought just for work, the new dresses that looked like they weren't meant for fluorescent office lighting. I let it all pass because I didn't want to be the paranoid husband. I didn't want to be the jealous man who counted hours on her calendar like they were betrayals. But betrayal doesn't knock, it whispers. The first confirmation came quietly. An email left open, a hotel reservation under his name, 2 guests. The comment, "Room service again." I didn't confront. Instead, I watched. Her phone's Face ID didn't work with me, but she often forgot her smartwatch on the nightstand. One sync was all it took. Messages, photos, timestamps, then the kicker, an internal group chat where they joked about training the CEO's wife to handle stress. The real betrayal wasn't sex. It was mockery. They thought I was blind. Blind men don't become millionaires. Blind men don't build companies that other men cling to for validation. I spent 8 months preparing. I started with silence. No arguments, no confrontations. I kissed her forehead at night and helped zip her dress for late meetings. Instead, I met with my lawyer. I transferred patents to a shell corporation. I rewrote stock vesting rules. I bought out quiet board members with severance packages that smelled like mercy. Behind every strategic move, I left breadcrumbs that looked like routine quarterly planning. Meanwhile, I learned about the man who touched her shoulder. Daniel, Senior Project Director. Bright, ambitious, too proud. He bragged about how indispensable he was. The truth? He was the weakest cog. He hid incompetence behind bravado and spreadsheets. So I fed it. I assigned projects too large, watched deadlines slide, let his mistakes compound. Every time he fumbled, I smiled and told him to just handle it. And he did, like a man sprinting toward a cliff because someone convinced him the sky was beneath him. The gala was the stage, and every chandelier a spotlight. I waited until dessert. The laughter was wine-soaked, the arrogance thick in the air. Daniel bragged about his future promotion, a position I had never approved. He leaned forward, tapping his glass. After all, I practically run the department. Hell, the CEO barely even knows what goes on down there. My wife looked at me then, one quick glance, gauging my reaction. She thought she knew me. She thought silence meant weakness. I wiped my mouth with the napkin, reached into my jacket, and pulled out my phone. A single tap. Screens around the gala, massive, high definition, lit up. At first, people thought they were scrolling metrics. Then came the transfer logs, Slack screenshots, his emails to my wife, hotel expense claims, audio messages of him laughing at me. Every smile at that table drained into silence. Even the band faltered, trumpet dragging off key. The COO's face went gray. The board members shifted in their chairs like they were sinking. Daniel stared at the screen, jaw open, eyes wild. He reached for my wife's hand, but she jerked it away. I didn't look at her. I only looked at him. "This," I said, voice calm, "is your resignation letter, already signed, retroactive to last week." Security stepped in. Not the rent-a-cop kind, the corporate kind. Trained, discreet, brutal. They marched him out through the center of the ballroom like a criminal on display. Someone gasped. Someone else applauded. My wife didn't speak. She followed me out of the venue like a shadow broken from its source. In the car, she finally whispered, "You knew." I didn't respond. There was nothing left to discuss. At home, I handed her a packet. A divorce agreement that left her with a condo and nothing of mine. Her eyes burned. "You used me." "No," I said. "You underestimated me." She tore the papers, shaking, but the printer waited on the table behind her, stacked with copies. She understood. Then I walked to the door. Behind me, the silence felt heavy, like the moment after a gunshot in an empty alley. Some betrayals are loud. Mine was meticulous. One strike, perfectly placed. People think revenge is chaos, rage unleashed. They're wrong. Real revenge is order. It's preparation. It's knowing exactly where to pull the thread so the entire tapestry collapses in the betrayer's hands. I don't regret any of it. They took 8 months from me. I took their careers, their comfort, and the illusion that I was a man who wouldn't fight back. In the end, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't throw a punch. I didn't beg.